Hello, welcome to Eslanzeni College TVET Clinic. I'm Mrs. Kandabila. Today we are going to look to Office Data Processing Level 4, Topic 3, which is Database or Microsoft Access, which is the program. Here we are going to look at how to type using Microsoft Access. In Microsoft Access is divided into 5 parts, which is structure, table, query, form, and report. Here in form and report, it's depending to the examiner whether the examiner wants you to write the form only or the form and the report. But in the structure, you have to start with the structure, followed by the table, then the query will follow after the table. We are going to look at the question paper of November 2018, which were written in 2018. Here we are going to create our structure. In Microsoft Access, you need to start by creating your structure. Then after you have finished with your structure, you are going to create the table following the instructions that are given in the question paper. Our structure is divided into 3 parts or 3 columns. We have field name, data type, and field size. Again, that's what you must take into consideration when you are creating your structure. You are going to start with the field name, followed by data type, then the last one will be the field size or format. When you are writing the database, you write it in a ZZ form or in a Z form. You must follow the sequence according to the table in your question paper. Okay, when you are creating your structure, you go to blank desktop, then here it says database. Up on top of it there is a file name where you must create your database. It must have the file name. Then our file name of this database will be question 2, and then you create. Yes. After you have created your file name, here in our screen we don't have a place to type, meaning we are not yet arrived where we need to start typing. What we need to do here, you have to go to View, then Design View. Then here in Design View, we are going to have the Save As dialog box. Our database allows us to save it before we start typing. Then here in our file name, we are going to say our table is what? Q2A. Then you click OK. After you have clicked OK, you are going to have this structure that you have in your question paper, that is consists of field name, data type, and field properties. Field properties is the same as field size or format. It's where you are going to type all the formats of your question papers or all the sizes of your question papers. In the description, you don't type anything for now because we don't have the description of each field. Alright. When you are typing, before you type, you'll find out you have the ID and auto number. Make sure that you remove the ID, you put the first entry of your structure. In our case, our first entry is member number. Our member number, we have typed it here in the field name. Then for you to move from field name to data type, you move by a tab. Then after that, all the data type, you are going to select them here. You don't type them. we are going to select the long text. Then our field size is 6. You also type the field size. Then you take your mouse, you go back to the next entry, which is say name and initials. You move with the tab, then you select long text. Then our field size or format is 12. After you have typed the field size, you go back to the next entry. Then it's what? It's address. You move with your tab, address is also long text. Then you go to format, it's 20. You type the field size or format. Then after address we have town. Then you move with the tab, it's also the long text. Then format, it's 20. You go to the next entry, which is DOB. Then you move to the data type, which is date. Here we have date or time, but the field properties will differentiate whether you are working on time or date. As we are going to select here, we are given the field size, which is long date. Here you select on the drop down arrow, you select long date, which is this one. Then you go to the last entry of, which is fees. Then you move with your tab, then you select, it's what on the field size, it's currents. You select the currents. Then for decimal places in the field size, it's 2. Never ever leave your computer in the auto decimal, because the system will decide it for you whether it puts the decimal or not. So make sure that every time you change the auto to the decimal places if it's needed. If not, if it was 0, you are going to put a 0. Now they said it must be 2 decimal places. Now I have done typing the entry of my structure. Then when you want to print the structure, you must make sure that you are below the last entry of your structure. Here in our case, our last entry is fees. Then you put your cursor below the last entry. Then when you want to print this structure, it's not like in Microsoft Word and Excel, PowerPoint and all other programs that you just go to File and print. Here in Microsoft Access, or when you want to print the structure, there are steps that you need to follow to print your structure, which I have already written them here in my notepad. To print your structure, you go to Database Tools, Database Documenter, you select the table, you go to Options. Why are we going to Options? We want to look for all that has selected. In Options, you must check that in Include for Table must be no tick in any of the boxes. All the boxes must be blank. Do not select anything. Do you understand? Thank you. Include for fields, you must select the second bullet, which will be selecting name, data type and sizes, of which is the one that we have in our structure. Our structure is having field name, data type and field sizes. Then you move on in Include for Indexing. In Include for Indexing, you select the word nothing. You must select the word nothing. After that, you'll click OK. OK again. Then the database will ask you, do you want to save the updated things that you have typed. You'll click yes, yes again. Let us do it practically so that you can see what I was talking about. Here are the database tools, database documenter. Then I said you select the table. You can select it here in this box, or you can select it here. But I hate the one that is selecting all. You must select the one that is here, because it gives you the option to select what you need. Understand? Good. Then you go to options. Here in options, you want to see, here is the word include for table. Include for table, I said these boxes must be blank. Make sure that you don't select any of these boxes. Then include for fields, you must select name, data type and sizes. Then include for indexes, you select nothing. This here is nothing. Nothing as a weight, not nothing as in you are selecting nothing. Then you click OK for the first time. Here is our second OK. Then must close the table first. Close now. It asks you. You must say yes. Is the first yes that is in our notes. The second yes is the one that is asking, do you want to save the design of the table? Then you will also click yes. Then now you have your structure. This is your structure. Your structure must be clean as this one. Must not show the relationship, the properties and the indexes. Please students, make sure that you always print your structure in this fashion. You must also follow these steps for you to print the structure. Don't forget to check all these that I underlined in red are the headings that you must look at before you commence with your printing. These are your notes. Following these notes, you will be able to print your structure correctly. Thank you very much. We are continuing. Now you will be able to print your structure. Then after you have printed your structure, you close the print preview. After you have closed your print preview, you have to open your table here in the navigation pane. This is our navigation pane. Then if you can check now on our table, all the headings that we have are the ones that we typed in our structure. Now has changed to become our column headings. Now make sure that our column are wide enough so that we see all the data that is in each of the column. Make sure that your column are wide enough. Now I'm enlarging my columns. Okay, now we are starting typing our table. Here, when you are typing the table, we are no longer restricted to type in a Z form. Now you can type it vertically or horizontally. Vertically by typing by each column, but the typing rule, it says you are typing horizontally. You start from left to right always when you are typing. Whether you are typing a data source or you are typing any table that you are typing, type it horizontally. Why are you typing it horizontal? In case you are not finishing your table, that little part that you have already typed, it might award you the marks. Good. Then now I'm starting with my table, which is OS 34. I move with my tab and Jacobs. Then it's 1, 2, 3 Erica Street. Mitchell Spleen. Okay, now we are here in DOB. Students, every time when you are typing under a date, you must start with a year, month, and a day. Always. Are you understanding? You start with a year, a month, and a day. Like here, it's 8209, meaning we are going to say 1982, 09, 11. Then, since we are writing in a long date, you just have to enlarge your column so that everything will be clearly displayed. Then the first is 360. Since we have selected the 2 decimal places in our structure, there is no need to type 360.00. The system will automatically insert the 2 decimal places. Then our next record is PO 33. It's L Ramo. It's 217 Mimosa Street, Durban. It's 1985. It's 1985. Here on the date, it's 1985, 85/01/20. Then you move with your tab. It's 567. Then our next entry is City 23. City 23 is T Kwezi. Then the address is 1234 York Road. You move with the tab with the caps, but however with 890503. It's 751015. Then the amount is 450. Then our last entry is RT73. You move with your tab as Silinga. You move with your tab 65 Mtuba 65 Mtuba Lane. 65 Mtuba Lane. Mtuba Lane. Then you move with your tab. It's what? It's Mamelodi. You move with your tab. Then it's 890503. Then the amount is 590. Then now we are done with our table, and let's continue with the instruction. says save the table as table 1 and your examination number. When you want to save the table, you go to File, Save As, Object. Save object as what? As table 1, and your examination number. Remember, candidates, to make sure that every time you are typing the database, you include your examination number so that your script will be marked. Then you click OK. Now, if you can check here, our table has been renamed. Okay, we are continuing with the instruction. Now, when you want to change the orientation of your table, you go to Print Preview. You click on it. Here in the database, we don't have the page layout for the orientation. We found our orientation in Print Preview, where under Page Layout, then you select the landscape. As the instruction says, we must print in the landscape orientation. That's how you change the orientation. You click Print Preview, of which is this one. Then you change the orientation of your page to landscape. After that, you close the Print Preview and you go back to your table. Now the instruction says we must edit the table as follows. Add new field named page with a yes or no field within the data in the type between the DOP and the field and the fees field. Now it means we must go back to our structure to add a field. Since you know that these headings, whenever type them here, we come with them from the structure. Then we have to go back to our structure. How to go back to the structure? You click Home, View, and Design View. Then they want us to put a record between DOP and the fees. We are going to right click in the fees row, then we set Insert Row. Then the row will be inserted between DOP and the fee. The field name here is page. Then you move, remember, for you to move to data type, you move with a tab. Then the data type is what? It's yes or no. Then since they didn't give us the instruction of the field size or field properties, we leave the default settings which are here. Then you click here, then you double click your table. The database is very clever. It will ask you, do you want to save it? No. Yeah, no. Then you will click yes. Now our table has been updated with a field page. Okay, let's look at the next instruction. When you look here in the instruction, we are given a little table that's stating here, Mr. N. Jacobs must be paid. It says yes. If you find the field page, it asking yes or no, where it's written yes, you are going to tick here in these boxes. Jacobs, it's yes, you tick. Then for Ramo, it's no, you don't tick. Silinga, it's no, you don't tick. Kwezi, it's a yes, you tick. Then now we have updated our table. We have also added the instruction of the page field. Okay, now we are moving on to the query. Remember earlier on I said our database have five parts. The first one I said is a structure. The second one is a table. The third one is a query. Then we followed by the form and a report. Then now the instruction here wants us to create the query. But before we continue or we going on with our query, we need to save the changes. The instruction says I must save this table as table 2 and the examination number. File save as object. Save is what? It's table 2. You remove the word copy and also you remove the one you put the 2. Then you click OK. Now I'm having my 2 tables here. Okay, then for you to create the query, there are some steps that you need to follow to create it. When you are creating the query, okay, when you are creating a query, now we are on the query. To create it, as the word says, create. It means you are also going to click what? Create in your menu bar. You create it by clicking create. Then from there you go to query design. By the way, the instruction, it says we must create it using our table 2. Meaning we have to select our table 2, then we close this dialog box. Then you have to enlarge your table so that you can see all the data that is in this table. Okay? Then now you have to select the fields that are given in the question paper. It says create a query form from table 2 using the following fields, which are surname and initials. I'm selecting surname and initial. Once I have selected the field, it will appear here bottom. The next one is page. You just point and double click, then it will be it also appear down there. The next one is fees. Okay, now we have put our fields here, which are surname and initials, page and fees. Okay, I was explaining here, as the word says create, you are going to also click what? Create. You are creating the what? The query. You select what? Query design. Since we want to create what? A query. You go to create, then you followed by query design. After you have gone to query design, you will select the table. The table. After you have selected the table, you have to select what? The fields. The fields that are given in the question paper. After you have selected your fields, then that's when you are going to see this part, meaning you have selected your fields. Then now the next instruction says add more than one criteria to fields only those who paid their fees and more than 360. Alright, when you are filtering, you are selecting a certain group of things in amongst the others. Here we have to show only those who have paid more than what? 360. Then how to do that? You click here in the row of criteria, of which is this one, under fees. We are only want to see those who paid more than 360. We'll say greater than 360. Then you click outside the amount, then you have to run your program. Now if you can check here, we only have the fees that are greater than or are more than 360, of which our database has managed to filter only those who paid more than 360. Then you have to save your query as question 2b. You can save your query by going to save as, object, save. Remember here I'm working with 2016. In 2010 you just go to save file, save as object. Then you type question 2. Remember, don't forget to put your examination number. Then you click OK. Okay, candidate, I have explained how to create the structure, the table, and the query. Our session will end here for today. Then tomorrow we are going to continue with the form and the report. As I have shown you how to create a structure, remember you have to follow the steps of creating the structure. As I've explained earlier on, that those steps you must know it by heart. It's not like other programs. As we are printing, we go to File and Print. Those steps you must follow them. Then also we have learned how to do the table. The table where we were putting all the data that were not in the structure, but the table gave us that headings, we found them in the structure. Remember, we also did the query, where we were creating the query using those fields that were given to us. I hope you have enjoyed our lesson. Let us meet tomorrow, same time, same place. Goodbye.